The Struggle for Human Dignity, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar'S. Perspective, Jade of Sahu. Abstract. The concept of human dignity plays a pivotal role in Dr. B.R. Ambedkar'S philosophy. Human dignity means one is entitled to have respect by virtue of human nature. Since the Dalits have been dominated by the upper caste Hindus for the centuries, Ambedkar has given his heart and soul for the upliftment and dignity of the Dalits. The untouchables have to face a lot of social, economic, and educational discrimination on account of their birth status. Whenever an upper caste Hindu deliberately did any harm towards the Dalits, the state machinery becomes ineffective. No one is ready to file a case against the upper caste Hindus. Ambedkar was disappointed with the Hindu hierarchy-based caste system. He envisaged that annihilation of caste is the only solution to give dignity to the Dalits. Ambedkar held it is not possible to break caste without annihilating the religious notions on which the caste system is founded. Again, Ambedkar failed to realize the dream of annihilating the caste system owing to the opposition of the mighty Hindus. Therefore, he thought to convert the religion. He thinks that the conversion of the religion is the only way to rescue the Dalit community. Finally, I have highlighted that what are the contributions of Ambedkar towards the upliftment and dignity of untouchables. In this paper, I have concluded that the struggle will continue unless and until the mighty Hindu castes are ready to embrace the Dalits into the Hindu fold and treat them on par with them. The concept of human dignity plays a pivotal role in Dr. B.R. Ambedkar's philosophy. Human dignity means one is entitled to have respect by virtue of human nature. Since the Dalits have been dominated by the upper caste Hindus for the centuries, Ambedkar has given his heart and soul for the upliftment and dignity of the Dalits. The untouchables have to face a lot of social, economic, and educational discrimination on account of their birth status. They have neither self-respect nor self-dignity. They are treated as slaves and worse than the beasts. I have tried to highlight how Ambedkar struggled with the upper caste Hindus for the basic and fundamental rights of the Dalits, and what he did in order to have self-respect and dignity for the Dalits. This paper also raises the very pertinent questions regarding the relationship between the Hindus and the untouchables. Why has untouchability not vanished? Why does the Hindu regard 9. Lawlessness against the untouchables as legitimate and lawful? Why does the Hindu feel no qualms of conscience in his dealings with the untouchables? What the untouchables have to face? The untouchables have to face a lot of social, economic, and educational discrimination on account of their birth status. Whenever an upper caste Hindu deliberately did any harm towards the Dalits, the state machinery becomes ineffective. No one is ready to file a case against the upper caste Hindus. If an untouchable goes to a police officer with a complaint against the upper caste Hindu, instead of receiving any protection, he will receive plenty of abuses. Either he will be driven away without his complaint being recorded, or if it is recorded, it would be recorded quite falsely to provide a way of escape to the touchable aggressors. If he prosecutes his offenders before a magistrate, the fate of his proceedings could be foretold. The untouchables will never be able to get Hindus as witnesses because of the conspiracy of the villagers not to support the case of the untouchables, however just it may be. If he brings witnesses from the untouchables, the magistrate will not accept their testimony because he can easily say that they are interested and not independent witnesses, or if they are independent witnesses, the magistrate has an easy way of acquitting the accused by simply saying that the untouchables' compliment did not strike him as a truthful witness. He can do this fearlessly, knowing full well that the higher tribunal will not reverse his findings because of the well-established rule which says that an appellate court should not disturb the finding of the trial magistrate based upon the testimony of witness whose demeanor he had no opportunity to observe. Even congressmen have practiced such a kind of discrimination. The annual report of the Tamil Nadu Harijan Sevak Sangh for the year ending the 30th of September 1937 says, 1. The political consciousness of the Harijans having been roused by the rights in the remotest villages where it is only the policemen that reign, it is not always possible for the Harijan to do this, for the assertion of his rights means a clash between him and the castemen, in which it is always the latter that have the upper hand. The natural consequences of this scuffle are a complaint either to the police or the magistrate. The latter course is beyond the means of a Harijan, while the former resort is worse than useless. The complaints are in many cases not inquired into at all, while in others a verdict favorable to the castemen is entered. Our complaints to the police also meet with similar fate. The trouble seems to us to be that there is no change in the 10. Mentality of the lower policeman. Either he is unaware of the rights of the Harijans of which he is supposed to be the guardian, or he is influenced by caste men, or it may also be that he is absolutely indifferent. In other cases, corruption is responsible for his taking the side of the richer castemen. This shows how the Hindu official is anti-untouchable and pro-Hindu. Whenever he has any authority or discretion, it is always exercised to the prejudice of the untouchables. The police and the magistrate are sometimes corrupt. If they were only corrupt, things would not perhaps be so bad because an officer who is corrupt is open to purchase by either party. But the misfortune is that the police and magistrates are often more partial than corrupt. It is this partiality to the Hindus and his antipathy to the untouchables which results in the denial of protection and justice to the untouchables. There is no cure for this partiality to the one and antipathy to the other because it is found in the social and religious repugnance, which is inborn in every Hindu. The police and the magistrates, by reason of their motives, interest in their breeding, do not sympathize with the living force operating among the untouchables. They are not charged with the wants, the pains, the craving, and the desires which actuate the untouchables. Consequently, they are openly hostile and inimical to their aspirations, do not help them to advance, disfavor their cause, and snap at everything that smacks of pride and self-respect. On the other hand, they share the feelings of the Hindus, sympathize with them in the attempt to maintain their power, authority, prestige, and their dignity over the untouchables. In any conflict between the two, they act as the agents of the Hindus in suppressing this revolt of the untouchables and participate quite openly and shamefacedly in the nefarious attempt of all Hindus to do everything possible by all means, fair or foul, to teach the untouchables a lesson and hold them down in their own places too. The worst of it is that all this injustice and persecution can be perpetrated within the limits of the law. A Hindu may well say that he will not employ an untouchable, that he will not sell him anything, that he will evict him from his land, that he will not allow him to his cattle across his field without offending the law in the slightest degree. In doing so, he is only expressing his right. The law does not care with what motive he does it. The law does not see what injury it causes to the untouchable. The police may misuse his power and his authority. He may disclose evidence to the side in which he is interested. He may refuse to arrest. He may do 101 things to spoil the case. All this he can do without the slightest fear of being caught. The loopholes of law are many, and he knows them well. The magistrate has vested in him an enormous amount of discretion. He is free to use it. The decision of a case depends upon the witnesses who can give evidence, but the decision of the case depends upon whether the witnesses are reliable or not. It is open to the magistrate to believe one side and disbelieve the other side. He may be quite arbitrary in believing one side, but it is his discretion, and no one can interfere with it. There are innumerable cases in which the magistrates, to the prejudice of the untouchables, have exercised this discretion. However truthful the witnesses of the untouchables, the magistrates take a common line by saying, "I disbelieve the witnesses," and nobody has questioned that discretion. What sentence to inflict is also a matter of discretion with the magistrate. There are sentences which are non-appealable. An appeal is a way of getting redress, but a magistrate may block this way by refusing to give an appealable sentence. 3. If the Hindu society plays its pan in maintaining the established order, so does the Hindu officials of the state. The two have made the established order impregnable. It is a pity to mention that even the food which has been cooked by a host of Dalit women for school children became untouchable. It is published in the Hindu, dated on the 4th of September 2012, entitled, "Now, the food they cook is untouchable for Salem." A host of Dalit women who cook food for children at noon meal centers attached to schools in various villages in Kadayampati Union in Salem district said that they are facing a social boycott. Caste Hindus in a few villages are preventing their children from having the noon meal cooked by Dalit women cooks, claiming that it is a sin to eat food cooked by them. "I feel like dying," said S. Sundaravanitha, a Dalit woman cook who had been facing boycott since her appointment on the 16th of August 2012. The second news published in the Hindu, dated on the 9th of September 2012, entitled, "Dalit Women Begin Fast Unto Death 5. VILLUPURAM. The women's wing of the Vidithalai Characterized Kachai began an indefinite fast at Seshasamudram in Sankarapuram block near here on Saturday, demanding the right of way for their temple car procession. According to Thamayanti, leader of the Mahalir Vidithalai Yakam, the protest was being organized to urge the authorities to enable the Dalits at Seshasamudram to take out a temple car procession without interruption. 12. Through the main thoroughfare, she said that 2,000 caste Hindu families and 70 Dalit families were residing at Seshasamudram. During the annual Mariamman Temple Festival, each community used to take out a separate car procession on mutually agreed dates. Moreover, with the transfer of Mr. Vivekanandan, the Dalits could not come across any government official who is ready to redress their grievances. Hence, the women have undertaken fast unto death till their demand is conceded, Ms. Thamayanti said. Lawlessness against the untouchables. It has become crystal clear that as far as human dignity is concerned, the Dalits have been underestimated, overlooked, and simply ignored. In order to establish the already established order, the Hindus could go to any extent. The Hindus are prepared to use every means to suppress the untouchables whenever the untouchables try to upset it even in the slightest degree. The ordinary non-violent Hindu will not hesitate to use the utmost violence against the untouchables. There is no cruelty which he will not practice against them to sustain the established order. Not many will readily believe this, but this is a fact. For those who have any doubt on the point, I have given below some cases of tyrannies and oppressions practiced by the Hindus against the untouchables, which have been reported from time to time in the newspapers. 2.1 The following news item appeared in the Hindu, dated on the 9th of September, 2012. A Dalit woman was assaulted, tortured and tortured in Jayaganta village, under the Dhamma police station limits of Odisha's Sambalpur district. Locals held her responsible for the death of a young man named Sudam Mahananda. The Dalit woman's 18-year-old daughter had eloped with Sudam. Unfortunately, Sudam died on the way. The villagers held that the Dalit woman and her family were responsible for Sudam's death. That is why they did this brutal act against the woman. 2.2 What happens to an untouchable if he remains seated on a cot in the presence of a Hindu can be seen from the following incident in Jivan of July 1938. Nanda Ram and Bengali Prasad of village Pachahara, police post, Margaon, Tehsil and district Siddipur invited their friends and relatives for a communal feast. When the guests were sitting on cots and smoking, Thakur, 13, Surajbaksh Singh and Harpal Singh, zamindars of the village, came there, sent for Nanda Ram and Bengali Prasad and asked who the people sitting and smoking there and why they were sitting on cots. Bengali Prasad said that they were his friends and relatives and asked if only Thakurs could sit on cots. Enraged by this, the Thakurs beat both the brothers and their men, beat the guests severely, as a result of which one man and one woman became senseless and others sustained serious injuries. 2.3 Some of the untouchables are Hindus. They are also citizens with the same civic rights, but the untouchables cannot claim the right of the citizenship if it conflicts with any rules of the established order. For instance, no untouchable can claim lodging in an inn even though it be pubic. In Jivan of August 1938 is reported the experience of an untouchable named Kanhaya Lal Jadhav of Fetigar. When I went to stay in Dharmashala near Allahabad Junction on 15th August 1938 at 10 p.m. there was no difficulty and I laid down on a cot, after paying an advance of 1 rupee. But at 11 p.m. when the lodgers, while noting down my address, I put down my caste as Jadhav, the manager got wild and said that the Dharmashala was not meant for the stay of low caste people and asked me to get out at once. I pointed out to him that according to the rules of the Dharmashala, it was meant for Hindus only and there was no ban on untouchables, so I am entitled to stay here. Then why are you asking me to leave? I also pleaded that being resident of Farrukhabad and not acquainted with anyone in Allahabad, there was no place where I could go at 11 p.m. on this. The manager got furious and, repeating the couplet from Ramayan, said that in spite of being a low caste he dared to talk about rules and law and will not get out unless he is beaten. Then suddenly he got my bedding etc., threw out of the Dharmashala and lay down on a plank of wood in front of shop facing the Dharmashala and had to pay annas to his rent to the shopkeeper for a night. I therefore appeal to my scheduled caste brethren to hold meetings everywhere and request government to construct separate 14 Dharmashalas for our people in every town, or to get all the existing Dharmashalas open for us. 2.4 Under the established order, the work of lifting and removing dead cattle as well as doing the scavenger's work is beneath the dignity of the Hindus. It must be done by the untouchables. The untouchables have also begun to think that it is derogatory to their status and are refusing to do it. The untouchables, however, are forced by the Hindus to do it against their will. The Jivan of June 1938 reports, one day, in May 1938, Bajuram Jadhav of village by Poli, police post Barla, district Aligarh, was sitting in his house at about 11 a.m. when some Brahmins, namely Prithik, Hodal, Cedar Ram, Divi and Chuni, all of whom had Lathis, came and tried to force him to lift dead cattle, and when he refused, saying that he was not used to that work and asked them to go to someone who does that sort of work, he was mercilessly belabored with lathis. The same journal in its issue of October 1938 gives the following news item. On the 24th of October 1938, some cattle of a Brahmin of village Lathari, Tehsil, Sadabad, district Mutra, died. The scheduled caste people of the village, who were asked to lift it, refused to do so. This enraged the caste Hindus so much that they have asked the scheduled caste people neither to go their fields for ablutions nor to allow their cattle to graze in their fields. 8. Annihilation of caste. Ambedkar was fed up with the upper caste Hindus regarding the lawlessness against the untouchables and the unbearable pain which the Dalits had to face. He pondered how to rescue the Dalit community from the clutches of the mighty Hindus. He realized that, unless and until the hierarchy-based caste system is abolished, it is only a daydream for the Dalit to have dignity and self-respect. Therefore, he envisaged that annihilation of caste is the one and only one way to liberate the Dalits from the dominant upper caste Hindus. Ambedkar held it is not possible to break caste without annihilating the religious notions on which the caste system is founded. 9. Further, caste has become the biggest monster for Indian society, he feels. The caste system has broken the backbone of the Hindus. It creates inequality and repulsion towards each other. There is lack of unity among the Hindus because of the caste system. 15. The Hindu caste system has been divided into watertight compartments. There is no unity among the Hindus unless and until there is a communal violence between the Hindu and Muslims. One Hindu is different from another Hindu although they belong to the same caste. Their way of living differs from each other. There is no associated bond among the Hindus. This makes the Hindu cowardice and they are in a state of timidity. On the other hand, the Sikhs and Mohammedans have shown an uncanny ability and associated bond to cope with the adversities. They could defend the enemy quite comfortably. The question naturally arises, from where does the Sikh or the Mohammedan derive his strength, which makes him brave and fearless? 10. I am sure it is not due to relative superiority of physical strength, diet or drill. It is due to the strength arising out of the feeling that all Sikhs will come to the rescue of a Sikh when he is in danger and that all Mohammedans will rush to save a Muslim if he is attacked. The Hindu can derive no such strength. He cannot feel assured that his fellows will come to his help. Being one and fated to be alone, he remains powerless, develops timidity and cowardice arid in a fight, surrenders or runs away. The Sikh as well as the Muslim stands fearless and gives battle because he knows that, though when he will not be alone, the presence of this belief of the one helps him to hold out and the absence of it in the other makes him to give way. If you pursue this matter further and ask what is it that enables the Sikh and the Mohammedan to feel so assured and why is the Hindu filled with such despair in the matter of help and assistance, you will find that the reasons for this difference lie in the difference in their associated mode of living. The associated mode of life practiced by the Sikhs and the Mohammedans produces fellow feeling. The associated mode of life of the Hindus does not. Among Sikhs and Muslims, there is social cement which makes them bhais. Among Hindus there is no such cement and one Hindu does not regard another Hindu as his bhai. This explains why a Sikh says and feels that one Sikh or one Khalsa is equal to 7 lakh men. This explains why one Mohammedan is equal to a crowd of Hindus. This difference is undoubtedly a difference due to caste. Therefore, for the betterment of the Hindus, caste system should be annihilated. Is Hindu religion a missionary religion or not? It is a controversial and debatable issue. Some hold the view that it was never a missionary religion. Others hold that it was. That the Hindu religion was once a missionary religion must be admitted. It could not have spread over the face of India if it was not a missionary religion. That today it is not a missionary religion is also a fact which must be accepted. The question, therefore, is not whether or not the Hindu religion was a missionary religion. The real question is why did 16. The Hindu religion cease to be a missionary religion? This is my answer. Hindu religion ceased to be a missionary religion when the caste system grew up among the Hindus. Caste is inconsistent with conversion. Inculcation of beliefs and dogmas is not the only problem that is involved in conversion. To find a place for the convert in the social life of the community is another and a much more important problem that arises in connection with conversion. That problem is where to place the convert, in what caste. It is a problem which must baffle every Hindu wishing to make aliens converts to his religion. Unlike the club, the membership of a caste is not open to all and sundry. The law of caste confines its membership to person born in the caste. Castes are autonomous and there is no authority anywhere to compel a caste to admit a newcomer to its social life. Hindu society being a collection of castes and each caste being a closed corporation, there is no place for a convert. Thus it is the caste which has prevented the Hindus from expanding and from absorbing other religious communities. So long as caste remains, Hindu religion cannot be made a missionary religion. 11. The effect of caste on the ethics of the Hindus is simply deplorable. Caste has killed public spirit. Caste has destroyed the sense of public charity. Caste has made public opinion impossible. A Hindu's public is his caste. His responsibility is only to his caste. His loyalty is restricted only to his caste. Virtue has become caste-ridden and morality has become caste-bound. There is no sympathy to the deserving. There is no appreciation of the meritorious. There is no charity to the needy. Suffering as such calls for no response. There is charity, but it begins with the caste and ends with the caste. There is sympathy but not for men of other caste. Religious conversion. Ambedkar failed to realize the dream of annihilating the caste on account of the strong oppose of the mighty Hindus. In order to give up the Hindu religion, he neither embraced Christianity nor Islam. He maintains that Buddhism is the viable and feasible solution to rescue the Dalit community. Hence, he embraced Buddhism on the 14th of October, 1956 at Nagpur, Maharashtra before he died on the 6th of December 1956.12 on the same day. Around 8.0 lakhs of supporters embraced